Hi, everybody. It is Friday, November 26th, and yeah, I was just gonna. I got to download again for my guides this morning, as usual, about 4 o'clock in the morning. um, it's kind of lengthy. I'm not sure if I should read the whole thing, but I kind of want to also tell you guys what they've been telling me is when I get messages, or I call them downloads or something. A lot of times it's not necessarily words. A lot of times it is. They get me to kind of write things down. It's pretty much word for word when they do it. But also they give me images, especially for analogies, like so examples for me and for everybody to kind of get it. So sometimes I'll get really interesting analogies. They're images of physical things like happening or whatever. Kind of stories to relate to, that type of thing. Excuse me. Um, but yeah, what they told me about last night. I mean, I guess to kind of update where we're at. This they give me this image of how, for instance, most of us that have been following along with what's this wake up call, and we're getting it. Um, so we're already finished. They use an example right now of what's they used an example of a classroom to explain kind of what we're going through right now. Um, and they were showing me that like it's a bunch of us students who we've got like we've got an hour to finish this test, and so we're looking at our watch, like looking at the clock on the wall, and we've all the usual, as usual, all the smart kids already finished their tests already, and they flipped them over, and so they're just sitting there waiting on their desk, their hands, and so we're looking around, and it's like, and we all know who the slow students are, you know, and but we're watching them, and they're still figuring out. They got the pencil in them out there, like trying to figure out the answers here, and they're writing them down, and so we're all kind of getting impatient. We're all looking at them, come on, just finish this test, because we all know, because we look at the teacher, and the teacher's looking at us, that we can't go. This class is not finished until everybody's finished the test. So we're literally just looking back at those kids write the test, and we're looking at each other, going, "What's going on? Let's go, hurry, because we want to get out of class." That's kind of what we're going through, but it isn't as if those slow students are less intelligent, put that way, than us. What it is they've been messed with more, so they've had more fluoride or whatever. The water they've been drinking is not right or something. So they're just not as. It seems like they're not as smart. They're not picking up on it. Whereas the rest of us, we're always like, we got it. We got this. Especially the people that are willing to learn with an open mind, and we really want to learn. We want to observe all these lessons. So ultimately, kind of that's what they're using as an example to me to show us where we're at. I guess it's the old where we go one, we go all too. So I guess it's in some ways a lesson for patience for us that are getting it already. But where the main problem we're having right now, where things seem like they're going slow, is it's the people that are consenting to what's going on are still creating this old reality. So the more they conform or stick to the idea that the narrative is right, the longer this lesson is taking. So they're and see with their mentality. I mean, I can only imagine because I don't think like that. But they're thinking, well, if we obey the guards' rules, the sooner we obey the guards' rules, the sooner they're gonna let us go back to play, play outside or something. But the rest of us are going, we're just not doing it. I'm just going on. There's no way of doing that. And So in some ways, uh, the more we say no to complying to these unlawful orders, if you kind of get what I'm getting at, and them forcing things on us, the sooner we can end this freedom break. So that's what we're shooting for. We're shooting for, look, we're all standing up against all the guards and we're saying no. Then as soon as we do that, or as soon as we get a certain amount of people, I guess a percentage, then the guards go, okay, yeah, you got us. We're wrong. And you guys are free to go. You can go out the front door. That type of thing. Whereas the rest of them are complying, thinking, well, we're never going to get out of here, so let's just make sure that the guards are happy. That type of thing. Anyway, so that's kind of an example of where we're at as far as that's concerned. Um, then they explained this to me. Oh man, it's pretty interesting how they explained this to me. So I think I'm going to just kind of read it off as best I can. All my notes, it's basically 2.5 pages of them just getting me to write stuff down. This stuff is a bit advanced. So what I'm getting at is, like, if you haven't watched my channels, or if you're not awakening at all, you're gonna think this is really, really bizarre stuff, because it's talking about off-world entities, extraterrestrials, I guess. The essence of what's going on with us. I titled this because for some reason this stuck out to me, is Avatar Wars. Because what we're kind of fighting over is this. See, I was going to say a holographic matrix, but in reality, it's a reality, physical matrix that we're fighting over, and these avatars that we, when I say we, I mean the universe or source, or God, you can call it that, created these avatars for us to experience physicality in, that type of things, like have real physical worlds to deal with and learn and progress with our souls, with our spirits. So going back to that, so this particular avatar has been tweaked and messed with and injected with DNA and hybridizations, whatever, just going on for centuries, so that we've created this particular model. I call it the Earth human model type of thing, and it's got a lot of really good benefits to it. It's like, if you can imagine, if another example is, if you're going to make the ultimate sports car, you want to take the best out of all these, Alfa Romeo, you want to mix in a Bugatti, you want to mix in a, Mustang, a Corvette, whatever. You want to make the ultimate model. So it's like you're making a hybrid car. So you're getting the best of what you think of all these features are from this particular cars, and you're making the ultimate race car. That's kind of what the human body has done. But no matter what, that race car still won't go unless it has a driver. And our driver is us, like our souls. So we are inhabiting these physical bodies, and we have crazy experiences. And I call that an avatar. It's like something we inhabit. So, okay, they told me that souls can get caught or captured in reality bubbles or holograms, these physical worlds that we know of. These realities seem so real that we don't want to leave. And the ETs take advantage of this, the negative ETs take advantage of this. And use us as fuel energy for their own means and for their agendas. Because we're little dynamos, we're little power generators, and we co-create physicality, whether we realize it or not. We're creating this world, just like the situation we're in right now is, whenever you consent to something, you're basically agreeing with it, and you're manifesting it. So you got to. That's why I'm always telling you to stay positive too. Like, we have to imagine what we're going to be, and then we be it. It all starts out with that thought. So, thing is, so the negative ETs that are taking advantage of us, they know how the system works, and they're basically, that's why I was telling you from day one, we've been hijacked, and they know how valuable we are because we create realities, and we're creating a reality that suits them. That's the problem. They've manipulated us into doing that. But again, like the problem with these realities is we've made them so good that with giving the right amount of convincing, humans that inhabit these bodies think that this is it. This is all there is. This is, and it's so not the way it really is. Anyway, so they know that. They steer the captured souls down timelines to benefit themselves, mostly by coercion, deception, and consent. The poor souls that agree to manifest these timelines, basically. In other words, we're creating these timelines to benefit their means. It is like a dream line, is what they told me down there. So it's like we're creating a dream, and we're manifesting it. There comes a time that is necessary to rescue them. For us that have been observing this, for the sake of the also for the sake of parallel connected timelines, and because it creates a bad ripple effect in our universe. I'm just telling you what they're telling me. I mean, this kind of sounds bizarre, I know. This is why I call it Avatar Wars, because I said this, Avatar Wars is kind of what this has become. The human Earth version have become so versatile because of DNA manipulation in our genetics. We are sought throughout multiple universes, mostly because of our soul connection to Source and our adaptation and our adaptation to multiverses. We have become the most valuable commodity for hybridization throughout the universes and multiple universes. This is what they're explaining to me. As an avatar, we're basically an avatar gold mine that can multiply itself, and we're used as food and creative, adaptable energy source. I kind of get what they're saying there. The most adaptable commodity for reality worlds. So in other words, by them capturing and using us, we manifest worlds. And if they can use our DNA, if they can crossbreed or hybridize with us, they try to use that force to become part of them. That's kind of what they're up to. The Sakaar, or reptilians, in this particular ones, they've been chasing us for a long time. And their alliance want to and have used us for their negative timelines to try and they're trying to punch through what they explained to me, punch through firewalls. It's like they try to punch through other universes and dimensions. So we're very, very powerful. They don't have that power. We're basically giving up our power to them, especially by consent. Okay. Second page is now the word has gotten out about our unintended value. So we are sought by all negative, regressive beings to be harnessed or used, controlled for their agendas, for their purposes. Positive entities have tried and still always do to set humanity free, and we're also want to protect them all the time. So it keeps us very, very extremely busy. Wherever we encounter them, we want to set them free and steer things right, change the timelines. Not only to steer them into a positive timeline, but also to let them go back to source, because what they do is they've actually found a ways of suspending us from going back home, sort of. Let's see. Okay. But yeah, basically, negative ETs have found tech and other ways to capture human souls, and this has to stop. Is what they were saying to me. We were meant to roam free and experience physical realities, other life forms everywhere, whenever we desired, and then go back to source. It's basically because we've co-created this universe for experience, for learning, for a ongoing learning journey, is what they said. We have the power to free ourselves. We are that powerful. We can free ourselves, but we just don't know it. This is what our captors found out. If they can control our physical minds, our avatar bodies, and they use an example as because our bodies use these physical minds, it's just a physical mind. It's like a computer processor. Our brains are computer processors. If they can capture our physical minds and manipulate them, they found out that we're easy to manipulate that way, especially if we're convinced that this is it. They can interfere with our free will. But the positive ETs know that we can't interfere with humans' free will. But at the same time, we must wake them up from this nightmare, is what they said. The most effective tool the negative ETs use is always fear. They always use fear. So that's the first sign that you can tell they're around, basically. First, by making us believe this reality is all there is, like I said, and then by using pain and suffering to keep us in line, just like cattle. The most valuable thing about Earth human beings is our ability to adapt and survive under insurmountable odds. We always survive. We survive conflict and adversity. We're really good at that, and they know that. So they're using us. Like I said, we're being played, we're being farmed. They're using us to create their realities, always, and they're even down to trying to geoengineer this planet to suit them. So we're slaves. We're slaves, and we're in. It's like a prison planet, sort of. But we just don't realize that we have the power to break out of this. At any time, we're way more powerful than they are. But we're told that we're not. And they found out that we can. We can be easily manipulated that way. We can say, we're free. Say, no, you're not. And also, they set up our particular world, as you noticed, so that they sort of are in a position of control, so they can roll out this agenda. It's just a power of suggestion, though. It's mostly almost mass hypnosis, but we do listen to it, unfortunately. Why? Because of fear. So that's why we can't fear at all. And then what's happened lately, I'm just going to tell you, because this will wrap this up. What's happened lately is the stuff they were trying to get us to inject into ourselves, that was just the beginning. I mean, we're putting an end to all this. We're just kind of like I said, waiting for the slowest classmates to wake up to this. But they were explaining to me what this was all about. Is it was the beginning of black goo, and what black goo is basically, it's like nanobots that they can control. They can control with energy, magnetic energy, electricity. They can make it into different shapes, forms, things like that. Basically, it was just kind of like liquidized computer. It's a liquid computer, and they have it in them to enhance their lives. They were going to put it in us to, well, we would think there was going to be an advantage because it'll give us more strength and things like that, just like they did. But what it is it's all about control. So that was the ultimate last try for control. And so yeah, they explained it to me. They explained it to me. It's very similar to how creating all these physical worlds started. And they showed me an example. It was more of a visual thing. I don't know. I can't go on too much longer to explain this, but it was really, really interesting how they explained that we kind of use it also as our creation story when we think about, for instance, Adam and Eve. It's well, let me put it this way. It's like a big ball of clay, they said, and what they would do when they first started, what Source would do was it would make everything was made out of the same thing. So everything's made out of clay. You'd make a clay being, another clay being, and then you want them to interact. So, for instance, you pick up a clay ball and you'd have them play catch or something, and you can animate these clay beings. And then when you're finished with them, they go back to being clay again. So everything's clay, everything's one. That's what they were also saying. And the reason why they use that is that same example is what they're doing with this injected AI. Let me put it that way. They're making it so that it's in its infancy, and that's why they use that as an example. They can make this black goo turn into little beings or whatever they want it to do, and then interact with each other. It's like they're going back to the basics, just exactly like Source did zillions of years ago, and they're trying to inject that in there, but they're in control. This is always their agenda. They want to be like Source. They want to be the controllers. They don't. Yeah, it's like they don't want to accept that they are part of everybody. They want to be the boss of everybody. I don't know. That's kind of a simple way of explaining it. But anyway, so that's the kind of situation we're in, and there's lots of help, but at the same time, we're trying not to interfere with free will. And we're breaking out of this. This is super, super important. What we're going through, and yeah. So, and it's working. So there's like lots of volunteers, and I'm one of them. I'm not special, by the way. So by me, like for instance, if you put me in that same class of students that are writing the test, and we got it, we're all waiting for the slow ones. It's almost like I'm getting whispered the answers in my ear. So I'm not the smartest kid in the class right either. Like a lot of you guys are figuring this out on your own. I mean, I'm getting help. I'm getting information. So I guess in a sense, the information I'm giving out here is for the people that don't get that information, and they need it to connect the dots or to help figure out to get out of this. Because the biggest thing for us to all do is to wake up to our power. You guys are, and you only realized how valuable human beings have become. We're just, well, that's why What do you think this is all about? Why do you think they're trying to capture us? We're obviously worth something. We're something. They're going to great lengths to try to capture us. There's something going on here. We're really, really valuable commodity. Anyway, I'll go on about that some other time. But okay, so that's kind of my basic update for the end of close to the end of November. So again, things seems like they're going slow, but in reality, we're waiting for the final student, I guess, to finally finish his test, and then we can go forward. So, I guess in a sense, ultimately, what I'm saying is, it's either the sooner we stop complying to their demands, the sooner we can break out of this prison. I'll end it like that for now. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.